Let's jump straight into this episode with a trend that you should avoid. This is boots on the ground, started trending just a few days ago, but this is definitely off limits. As far as I understand it, this is related to a viral line dance song. If you Google this, you will quickly find it on YouTube. So avoid this trend, it's not safe. Another new trend I noticed is this one with a video game character. It's Yatta, related to Roblox. And there's a few of these that popped up a few days ago and started selling. Yeah, it might seem like a harmless kid's design, but this character right here and also the name Yatta, in my opinion, is definitely off limits. And then niche number 3 to avoid is Max and Ruby. A lot of these suddenly selling right here, recently posted. This is related to a TV show, and maybe it's got to do with Easter. Like maybe that's why it's trending. I'm not sure why suddenly there's so many listings that are new with these characters, but either way, it's not just some harmless Easter designs. These are characters of an animated show, so you're not allowed to sell these. Moving on to the first trend, which you can actually sell, we've got Everyone is Welcome, and these are all extremely recently posted. So we've got published 3 days ago, pretty much on all of these listings except this one right here, even published 2 days ago on the right hand side, and these all have a very low BSR. We've got 30k as the bestseller, 50k, 76k, 88k, 120. So there's a ton of sales happening right here, and the designs are not too difficult to create. And if I scroll down further, there's even more and more of these with new badges just from like literally 2 days ago, and they're all starting to sell. So big new trend, lots of demand. So I hope you can pick up some sales. Next up, we've got another political trend, but in this case, it's actually not related to the US for once. This is about Duterte, the president or former president of the Philippines. I might be wrong right here, so correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot of designs that say, I stand with Duterte. Then also the phrase, I'm not a Filipino for nothing is very popular. I stand for PRRD. And if you look again at the dates right here at the bottom, we've got published 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, and there is a lot of sales happening. The lowest PSR is 67,000, and we've got 75k, 83k as well, 90k, and then many more listings that are sitting around the 100 or 200k mark. A lot of Filipino flags, and some of these also feature his face or an illustration of his face. So a ton of demand in this niche right now, and the designs seem relatively easy to put together. I don't know about using his face. I don't know what the rules are there exactly, and if you want to like copy images from Google, that's never a good thing. So I would stick to more of these kinds of designs that are flag themed or have the phrases in them, maybe a fist, but overall try and design something that stands out amongst these search results. For example, there's not a ton of designs that are ranking right here that are on a different color to black. There's a couple that are on white, but besides that, there's not really a lot of variety. Autism Awareness Month is happening in April this year, and it kicks off on the 2nd of April with Autism Day or Autism Awareness Day. So this niche is dropping a lot in BSR and demand. I saw a lot of these selling on Etsy as well during my research, but looking at the Amazon results right here, we've got the best seller or the best ranking design at the moment with a 50k BSR, and we're still about 2 weeks out from the actual awareness month starting. So there is a ton of potential. There's also a ton of variety in the results, and creativity will really help you out right here. For example, we've got this new listing published 5 days ago that's already made it into the top 5 that has this kind of chemistry symbol design style, which is not a new design style. Like that's definitely existed for ages, and I've seen it in many different niches, but I've never seen it in the autism niche. And so this is a very creative approach, and it is or seems to be paying off for this person because it has an 82 kBSR after just 5 days, which is crazy. And then scrolling down, we've got some more established sellers. A few new ones like this is published 32 days ago. However, there is a smiley in this graphic. I wouldn't recommend that, but it's a cool design. A lot of black, fairly one color design. The checkered pattern in the background seems to be very popular as well. You can see it amongst many of these designs. The smileys are dangerous. I've pointed that out a few times before, I know, but I also like how this design is on the asphalt grey t-shirt as the primary thumbnail, which is cool and definitely stands out. Then we've got these heart shapes right here as well, which have been popular recently, and another one with a new badge. This is published just 4 days ago. I wear blue for my son. And then we've got the puzzle pattern right here, which is also very popular in the autism niche. And by the way, you might notice when you hover over these listings, if you're using flagging research, that you've got this new symbol in the top right corner. So what they've done is they've essentially added the ability for you to generate designs straight inside of this research tool, which is pretty cool. Let me know if you want like a separate tutorial about that. I will just briefly show you how it works. So you click on this, it brings up a new window where you can click on prompt. It will essentially describe the design as a prompt, or you can hit generate and generate designs again based on what it describes this as. So it would just do the describe straight away and build it into your process. So let me just show you this. If you click on that, it should bring back an optimized prompt for t-shirt design. You can also increase the amount of designs you want to generate. I think this goes up all the way to 8, and there's different versions as well. So now we've got a long prompt right here for celebrate minds of all kinds with stylized flowers, etc. Let me just generate a couple of these as an example, just so you see what the process looks like. And if you want more of an in-depth video of me actually testing this, showing you some tips, then let me know in the comments down below. I think it's interesting that this is kind of built into a research tool. And by the way, you can also make changes to the prompt up here, delete certain things, change the text, copy it and take it somewhere else. You can clear it and also just start from scratch with your own prompt if you wanted to. But there we go. There's a couple of designs that came back based on that description of this one. And yeah, it's really interesting. You can highlight them right here. You can download them or carry on with removing background, etc. But back to the niche, there is definitely still a lot of designs popping up with new badges, as you can see, and many of them are less than a week old and they're starting to rank. So there is still potential. It is a highly competitive niche, but if you kind of apply new trends, unique ideas, like this approach is really cool with the tiger. I've not really seen any tiger designs selling before in the autism niche. This is 30 days old, very cool layout as well, one color design. Autism is my superpower. So there's a lot of approaches to this, and there's definitely still a lot of potential to make sales in this niche. And now is a great time to put a lot of designs out there. Moving on to the Etsy trends, the first one I've got for you is Pregnant Girl Summer. I noticed a lot of these starting to sell during my research, and most of them are fairly simple text-based designs. If you scroll down right here, we've got a few with the Popular Now badge. I haven't filtered out the best sellers in this case. As you can see, there's also some new ones showing up right here that are just 1 month old. Don't have any stats yet. Let's actually click on one of these just to see what it says in 6 baskets right here. So people are definitely looking at this stuff, looking at these results. It's not summer yet, right? These are more summer themed, but they're starting to sell. As you can also see by this listing, which is just 9 months old, and it's also been bought 6 times in the past 24 hours. It's got the bestseller badge right here, and it's just a very simple design. It says Pregnant Girl Summer with a serif font and a little shell in the middle right there. Now, FOB's also added a new feature to their research tool. So on this listing right here, this is a little bit older, 22 months. I found this one on purpose. Doesn't seem to have much demand right now by the looks of it, but if we look at the analyze listing feature right here, you can now scroll down a little bit and you'll get this trends tab, which is in beta right now, but it essentially shows you a graph of sales over a certain time horizon. And what we can do with this listing, because it's older, is we can change this right here to the past 12 months, for example, and then you'll see that 12 months ago, this was also not selling very much. And then it started to really take off around the end of April, beginning of May. So this is a really cool feature to kind of show you when do certain niches trend, when do they start to trend, when should you enter these, and kind of helps you prepare in advance with launching your products, launching your designs before you actually get to the peak of sales to get them to rank. And yeah, this has a lot of customization right here to change this to different months, different outlooks. So definitely play around with that. I've heard they will also implement a feature where you can then select a custom date range right here, so you're not limited to just these options. But interesting to look at these graphs to get an idea and a feel for when or how certain products perform throughout the year. Another niche which I noticed started to trend heavily and that will peak in the beginning or middle of May is Mother's Day. Now, there's a bunch of shirts right here that seemingly aren't really doing too well. Like it says average monthly sales 7, monthly sales 4, 13. But if you actually click into some of these, you will notice that the demand is actually way higher, because the monthly sales right here are an estimate based on probably the average over the last 30 days or something along those lines. And if we click on this listing, for example, you'll quickly see, well, first of all, it has a bestseller badge, badge, which is a good sign. But it also says on the right, 19 people bought this in the last 24 hours, which is crazy. And in this case, we've got a listing where you can customize the name right here. Love Austin, happy 9th Mother's Day, happy 1st Mother's Day. So you can change the date as well in this. And I think these kind of listings are going to do the best because it definitely shows in the search results that customizable designs are the ones that are in high demand. Here you can change the names. Same with this design. You can also change the year right there. And this seems to already be doing extremely well. 355 monthly sales average. And this is a bit of an older listing. And it just says Mama with some script font names across the top. So let's click into this and see what it says. So this actually says 4 people bought it in the last 24 hours, which is less than the last listing. Let's hit analyze right here and see what the graph looks like. So fairly consistent over the past 30 days. Let's look at it at a longer time horizon. Wow, this saw a massive spike around, May 2024, which makes sense. About the beginning, middle of May is when this peaked. So I also see a lot of potential with these kinds of designs right here on the left. Overstimulated mums club, like the whole club theme, mums club theme, probably will also work for Mother's Day. Maybe you can combine that as well with some customization options for people, or this kind of style we've got on the right hand side right here with the strawberry kind of vintage club design style. I don't know what to call it properly, but you know what I mean. Those kind of designs are doing well across many feminine niches, so it's probably also going to work for Mother's Day. We've got some bows right here as well, ribbons, those are definitely doing well, and then some Winnie the Pooh on the left, which you're not allowed to sell. So anyway, there's a ton of demand in this niche, and as you can see by some of the stats and some of these listings, the demand will only rise until May and then peak in the first or second week. So definitely get ready and try and put up some creative, high quality listings, ideally with customization options as well. And another niche that's definitely on the rise on Etsy right now is bachelorette shirts, and this is probably trending because the kind of peak season for weddings is between May and October or September, around then. So bachelorette parties or bachelorette trips obviously go a little bit ahead of that. And yeah, there's a ton of bestseller badges right here, a lot of similar looking designs as well. We kind of have that social club, mom's club design style again that I mentioned in the last niche, with one color, retro illustrations, and some nice elegant text. And that's not the only style that's selling, but definitely that's what's kind of ranking along the top right here. And there's also a bunch of listings that are quite young in terms of the listing age. We've got 7 months over here on the right, 6 months for the top 2 ranking listings right here, and they're all getting over 100 sales estimated a month. If we click into one of these, just so I can show you an example, this says 7 people bought it in the last 24 hours. And if you scroll down, you can see what people can customize. So you can change the name, the location, the year, and the design color as well. So I guess people can say, I want this in red, I want it in blue, etc. So that's definitely cool. So yeah, you can do this kind of thing with My Designs, set up customizable designs and listings. I've made a bunch of tutorials about that in the past. You can find them on my channel in the My Designs playlist. I think it's quite evident that, at least in this niche, customizable designs are at very high demand because that's mostly what's ranking at the top. There is some static ones like this one that says bride right here. We don't really change the name or anything. There's also this right here, Let's Go Girls, kind of more cowgirl themed. And I don't think you're going to change or add a name right here. So that's an interesting angle. And then there's also a bunch of these kind of group listings where you've got Team Bride and then bride right here in the center, or some funny phrases on these tank tops, I guess, where you're probably going to get some bigger orders with listings like that, but they're also a bit more difficult to set up with all of the different designs. So anyway, that's about that. Very high demand niche right now. As you can see, I'm still scrolling, and there's a lot of bestsellers, bestseller badges, and a lot of high estimated monthly sales right here. So definitely check out this trend and let me know if you want to see a design tutorial for one of these social club designs. If you want to take your design skills to the next level by combining 2 of the best design tools for print on demand, Kittle and Ideogram, you definitely need to watch this video next.